Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Sunday, June 4th, 2023. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with a story from outside the ring. Lauren Boebert, U.S. Representative for Colorado's 3rd Congressional District, declared yesterday that she has conclusively proven that retired pro wrestler Sweet Stan Lane is not her biological father. Boebert and Lane reportedly took a round of DNA tests last month in an attempt to put the matter to rest, and the results came in negative. Rumors of Lane, best known as one half of the Midnight Express and the Fabulous Ones, being the father of the Colorado Republican, have persisted for years, stemming from claims made by Boebert's mother, Shawn Roberts Bentz, who had an affair with Lane in 1986 when he was wrestling for Championship Wrestling from Florida. A court-ordered paternity test had already proven decades ago that Lane was not the father, but serious doubt was cast on the results after it was discovered that the phlebotomist who performed the blood test had been convicted of taking a bribe to falsify evidence in a separate case. Said Lane in a statement released to both PW Insider and the Daily Beast, quote, "The results came back on May 11th, 2023. They were conclusive that I had a 0.0 chance of being the biological father. Once we both reviewed the results, Lauren and I agreed that this matter is settled, and I accepted Lauren's apology on behalf of herself and her mother," end quote. Moving to Japan, New Japan Pro Wrestling held one of its biggest shows of the year today inside Osaka's Joe Hall. In the main event, Sanada defeated Yota Tsuji in 17 minutes and 1 second to retain the IWGP World Heavyweight title. It was Sanada's second title defense and Tsuji's first match in Japan since August 2021, before going on a learning excursion to Rev Pro in England and Mexico's CMLL promotions. Making their first defense, the team of Kazuchika Okada, Tomohiro Ishii, and Hiroshi Tanahashi of Chaos defeated the Blackpool Combat Club's Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Shota Umino to retain the Never six-man tag team titles after Okada pinned Umino. After the bout, a video was aired of AEW's Bryan Danielson challenging Okada for the upcoming co-promoted Forbidden Door show on June 24th in Toronto.
Watching you, you're good. I know you're good. But I am the litmus test of great. You want to wrestle Bryan Danielson? You call yourself the Rainmaker, but you step in the ring with me, and you're getting into the desert, and there ain't gonna be no rain.
A flight delay for Castagnoli due to Tropical Storm Mawar caused the six-man tag to be shifted to the semi-main event spot on the show, switching positions with the junior heavyweight title match. In the match to decide who will face off against IWGP United States champion Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay defeated Lance Archer in 8 minutes and 1 second, finishing him with the Hidden Blade. Ospreay now moves on to face Omega at Forbidden Door on June 24th. In a three-way bout to decide the vacant IWGP World and NJPW Strong Tag Team Championships, Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi defeated the teams of Evil and Yujiro Takahashi and Aaron Hanare and the Great Okan when Goto pinned Yujiro. It's the third title reign for the team better known as Bishamon, who claimed the titles that were vacated by Aussie Open on May 21st after Mark Davis injured his knee. After the bout, the new champions were attacked by Alex Coughlin and Gabriel Kidd, who have revealed they've joined Bullet Club. In other title matches, Hiromu Takahashi defeated Master Wato to retain the IWGP World Junior Heavyweight title, making the 5th successful defense during his 5th reign as champion. NJPW World Television Champion Zack Sabre Jr. retained over Jeff Cobb to make his 10th defense. David Finlay defended the Never Openweight title for the first time, defeating El Phantasmo. TJP and Francesco Akira won the IWGP World Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship for the second time, knocking off Kushida and Kevin Knight. After the match, Clark Connors and Dan Maloney attacked Akira and TJP, with Maloney jumping ship from the United Empire to join Bullet Club. Also on the show in an 8-man tag team match, Titan, Bushi, Shingo Takagi, and Tetsuya Naito defeated Taichi, Doki, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Taka Michinoku. During Domination, New Japan also announced a record number of 32 participants for this year's G1 Climax tournament. AEW's Eddie Kingston and Pro Wrestling Noah's Kaito Kiyomiya are 2 of the 10 men who will be making their G1 Climax debuts, and the only 2 from outside the company. Also set to take part in the month-long showcase, which begins on July 15th and runs until August 13th, are Kazuchika Okada, Tetsuya Naito, Sanada, Will Ospreay, Hiroshi Tanahashi, David Finlay, Shota Umino, Shingo Takagi, Tomohiro Ishii, Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, Hikuleo, Hiroki Goto, Yoshihashi, Toru Yano, Kenta, Zack Sabre Jr., Taichi, El Phantasmo, Ren Narita, Evil, Chase Owens, Jeff Cobb, The Great Okan, Aaron Hanari, Gabriel Kidd, Alex Coughlin, Shane Haste, Mikey Nichols, and Yota Tsuji. In WWE news, Seth Rollins made his first defense of the WWE World Heavyweight title last night at a Super Show Live event at the Westchester County Center in White Plains, New York, defeating The Miz in 14 minutes and 9 seconds. Also defending titles on the show were Gunther, who retained the Intercontinental title in a fatal 4-way with Damian Priest, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Matt Riddle. Rhea Ripley successfully defended the SmackDown Women's title against Natalya. U.S. Champion Austin Theory pinned Sheamus with his feet on the ropes. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn retained the Undisputed Tag Team title in the opener against the Viking Raiders. And in other results from White Plains, Cody Rhodes beat Finn Balor in a street fight, the Usos went over the Brawling Brutes, and Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair topped Damage Control. The All Elite Wrestling House Shows Tour came to Huntsville, Alabama at the Von Braun Center last night. In the main event, Darby Allin and international champion Orange Cassidy defeated the team of Daniel Garcia and Matt Menard of the Jericho Appreciation Society. Both AEW Women's Champions once again defended their titles as they did the previous night at AEW's Tupelo, Mississippi house show, this time with Women's World Champion Toni Storm beating Britt Baker, Anna Jay, and Sky Blue in a 4-way match, and TBS champion Chris Statlander retaining against Lady Frost in Frost's second match since officially signing with AEW. In other results from the evening, Juice Robinson beat Pat Buck, Powerhouse Hobbs defeated Shawn Spears, Hook and the Hardy Boys upended Preston Vance, Ethan Page, and Big Bill, Jeff Jarrett and Satnam Singh beat the Boys, and Max Caster went over Tony Nese. The National Wrestling Alliance presented Night 1 of the 6th edition of the Jim Crockett Sr. Memorial Cup Tag Team Tournament last night in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Advancing in tournament matches were the teams of Bestia 666 and Mecha Wolf, NWA World Champion Tyrus and Chris Adonis, Trevor Murdoch and Mike Knox, Mystices Jr. and Octagon Jr., Yabo the Clown and Ruffo the Clown, Ricky Morton and Kerry Morton, Kratos and Odinson, and Blunt Force Trauma. The quarterfinals, semis, and finals of the Crockett Cup tournament are scheduled to be held tonight during Night 2 of the event, also in Winston-Salem. Also on the card from last night in a non-tournament match, NWA National Champion EC3 successfully defended the title against Silas Mason. Game Changer Wrestling presented their 8th annual Tournament of Survival on Saturday, emanating from the Showboat Hotel in Atlantic City, New Jersey. GCW Ultra-Violent champion Rina Yamashita ultimately came out victorious, surviving a 12-person field by defeating John Wayne Murdoch in the deciding match. Yamashita had defeated Toru Sugiura in the semifinal round, while Murdoch knocked off Cyclope. Others involved in the tournament, which began with 4 three-way dances before whittling down to the final 4, included Joey Janela, Sawyer Wreck, Matt Tremont, and New Japan's El Desperado. In ratings news, last Friday's SmackDown showed a significant increase in total audience and key demographic rating from the previous week, according to the overnight numbers as reported by the website TV series Finale. The total audience figure for the episode was reported as 2.46 million viewers, up from the previous week's 2.027 million. The rating in the key 18 to 49-year-old demographic was listed as 0.07, up from the previous week's 0.46 key demo rating. Full ratings for SmackDown are expected later this week. In more AEW news, last month's Double or Nothing pay-per-view event did between 130 and 135,000 buys, including both Fight and Bleacher Report, according to the most recent edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. That total would be very close to the number of buys for AEW's previous pay-per-view event, Revolution. Double or Nothing was broadcast live on April 28th from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas and was headlined by the Anarchy in the Arena match between the Elite and the Blackpool Combat Club, as well as a 4-way involving AEW World Champion MJF, Darby Allin, Jungle Boy, and Sammy Guevara. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, You can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.